Welcome to today's episode of Two Pigs in a Pod, a podcast for the people of Glazing by the people of Glazing. I'm George Lewis, editor at the People in Glazing Society, or more commonly known as PiGs, and I'll be your host. Today we've got on the show Nigel Headford. Welcome to the show, Nigel.
Hi.
So, for those that don't know who you are, can you briefly explain who you are and what you do within our wonderful industry?
My name's Nigel Headford, and I've recently become CEO for the Council of Aluminium in Building.
Okay, and what is it that you did before that? Obviously, you've been in the industry quite a long time, but what was your role before you joined CAB?
Before, I've been a director of CAB for a number of years anyway.
Yeah.
But before then, I was director of DeKernick Aluminium in the UK.
Okay.
Launched DeKernick Aluminium 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Finally.
Okay.
5 years ago, August 19, I joined. So yeah, it's gone for a while.
Nice. And the age-old question we always ask people on this is, how did you get into this industry, and more importantly, why? What was your sort of route into this industry?
Oh, long and winded. I started off in architecture when I was younger as a technician, and then got into main contracting, then subcontracting, and just gravitated to facades. So I've always been involved in facades in one way or another, and I think one of the reasons I got into glazing in particular, it was always in the wrong place when I was trying to put the cladding on the wall. So I wanted to understand why, and it was more about understanding the interface detailing and stuff that really fascinated me. So yeah, I ended up going to work for a systems company, then fabricators, and as I said, it's a long and winding road, but I've ended up here somehow. I don't know.
And what made you gravitate towards facades in the first place? What was it that sort of piqued your interest first off?
I was always interested in construction. So I mean, when I say I was a young lad, we're going back to the early 70s, very early 70s, and going on site with my dad, who was working on a weekend. The health and safety was nowhere near what it is now. So I'd spent a lot of time on building sites. My dad was a carpenter joiner, so doing some work on internals more than anything else. But it was always what building looked like. I was always interested in, and we used to, those days you didn't holiday abroad, so we've seen a lot of the UK, and and there's some fantastic buildings in the UK, and just got interested in it. That was all it was.
Okay. And the question is, what did you know about glazing? But I guess we can say it about construction. Do you think everything you knew first off was through your dad?
Yeah, family. Yeah, the family. I mean, it was one of two ways. You either went into motorsport and garages or construction. So I don't know if I got the right one.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, it was interesting one way or the other that it could have been one in motorsport.
Yeah, but I think it's one of those things, and I think that any industry is guilty of this, where it's just you get involved by osmosis. It just becomes part of what you do day to day.
Yeah.
And your friendship group, everything is is based around your interest, which in my case has always been architecture. So.
Okay. And like you said, you're now the top dog at CAB after being a director for. Firstly, how's it been in the first few months of being CEO, and what is CAB for anyone that doesn't know?
Well, I mean, what is CAB? I'll answer that one first. So we're a membership body for anyone that uses aluminium in the built facade or the built environment. A lot of people think we're a window and door organisation, and so that comes from the early days of where we were the Aluminium Windows Association, Painting Glazing Association, something like that. So but we have we've got a multitude of different members. So we support, we lobby, we look at legislation, and more importantly, the same as PiGs. We provide networking.
Yeah.
Some really good opportunities for people who are in same sort of business, same sort of organisations offering service. But when we're talking about a wider problem, i.e. PAS 24 Part L, we're the body that brings everyone together, and we're the voice really. So it's wide and varied. But yeah. And I must admit, I didn't realise how much there was to the organisation, even being a director of it day to day. Yeah, It's very interesting. The interaction we have with all sorts of different members is fantastic.
Yeah. And what are the plans for CAV now? Now you're in the role. What have you got? Any sort of plans that you've got in the short term and the long term? Is there sort of things that you've setting out to do?
Yeah, short term, I want to get us back to our roots, which is being a technical body where people come to us for information assistance. I think that's core to where we grew from. In recent years, we got known as an old man's club who met up for a beer and a chat now and again.
Yeah.
That's far from the truth, and I think we lost a little bit of interaction with our members.
Okay.
That I'm changing. I'm out seeing people, talking to a lot more members, giving them engagement and so on, and just trying to show them what the value that the organisation has got to the industry as a whole.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, and how's it been seeing? So obviously, it's not just people from the glazing sector, but for anyone that uses, like you said, aluminium in construction at all. How's it been sort of seeing different kind of companies outside of the glazing sector?
It's been really interesting. So there's some businesses I've known of and seen, and there might be a name on an invoice or something, but actually understanding their business and their plans for their business and the growth, and just seeing different initiatives that are going on in different businesses, small to international businesses, is always interesting. And I think that's one of the things with the organisation as a whole, to be honest, where if someone's doing something positive and there's a change, they tend to share it. And that's what I think is core to any membership organisation.
Okay, and speaking of the members, obviously, like we said, there's people from outside of glazing. But can you, for our listeners that are in the sector, can you give an idea of a few of the sort of the bigger names in I guess, or some of the names you want to promote, of people that are already members?
If I give names, I'm going to get
you're going to get told off by someone else
else's
mentioning them. Yeah.
I mean, we've got 98% of the systems companies in the UK are members. So that gives you an idea of, and we're talking, Shuko down to Jack. Everyone's in apart from a couple, which we're talking to as well. So there's a value for them to be there. Fabricators from large facade contractors, Praters, Alumet, right down to I was with a new member yesterday who have just set up as an aluminium fabricator, were installers who see the value and are coming on board.
Yeah.
So it's wide and varied. We've got a number of installers on their own that are members.
Okay.
Consultants, hardware manufacturers. We have a multitude of hardware manufacturers, finishers, so powder coating, anodizing. That's always an interesting one. And we've got Dale Fabrications, who those are their guttering and fascial soffits and so on. So it's wide and varied, and recyclers recently. In the last 3 or 4 years, we've had a lot of recyclers coming on board.
Okay. And in terms of having that sort of varied, is the message that you're sort of giving from the fabricator to the installer, say, to the recyclers, is the message of what CAV is about different? Is the support there different for what they need?
No, it's the same for everybody. And I think the interesting thing is that we put people together. So there's we've had a number of instances where someone wants to win a project, they want to use our closed loop scheme. Who's the best person to talk to about recycling? And you put them together, and everything works.
Yeah.
And that goes down to main contractors as well.
Okay.
So that's one of the things we're changing, and I think the big change with me coming on board really was a desire from the board to have someone that's actively involved in our industry, leading the business. Our previous CEO wasn't from the industry and didn't get the nuances, and I think we are unique, as is any sort of stream of manufacturing specifically. But I think we are unique.
Definitely.
And we're a great bunch of people. So for me, it was important that we are a membership body. We are, and as a bigger, part of the construction industry, we're a good bunch of people, and we just needed to all get on. And
Mm,
I'd welcome anybody into the organisation that has a passion, and has a value for the wider membership. To be honest.
yeah, and like you said, there is companies from outside our sector. Do you think it's important when you have your sort of meetings and stuff like that, that actually people from the glazing sector might talk to people from the sort of the wider construction area to get ideas and knowledge base that they can maybe take into our sector?
Oh, 100%. You take the obvious one, and I mean, I spoke about it earlier on, just detailing, just, what details when you put a window into brickwork, into SFS, into whatever substrate, talking to someone who supplies the sealant, talking to someone who supplies the EDPM, they're all members,
Yeah,
so you can network with that and have a chat. And I think we all say that no question is a stupid question, yeah? But people still hesitate to ask a question just in
yeah,
case they look, lacking in knowledge.
yeah,
Um, and it is literally no question. People who know me know I will sometimes throw a pebble in a conversation just to see what waves they cause. Just to get someone who isn't speaking up to
mm,
speak up and give a bit of knowledge. And I think that's the interesting one where I see it in our technical committee meetings where you can have 30 different people sat on a Teams call, ranging from finishers, BSI, testing houses, hardware manufacturers, system houses, fabricator, and they can all put in their view from their specific specialization in our
yeah,
industry, and that just works so well because it's very easy as an OEM to get your head down and just look at what your part needs to
yeah,
do. And now, I've been talking to Glaze Park recently because they were asking specific questions about some new products, and it's like, well, talk to some of the members.
yeah,
Yeah, they're going to tell you what they want.
yeah,
And I think that's the benefit is everyone can talk and on an equal playing field.
yeah.
And what people don't realise is as a member, you get that seat on the technical committee.
Okay.
So even as an installer, if you're installing Windows 24/7, you can actually sit on the technical committee and understand what we're talking about Part L, what we're talking about PAS 24, what are the impacts coming in the next few years,
Hmm.
and gives you a chance to shape your business, your offering, and the way you're going to approach it.
Okay.
So something else we're just changing actually is many years ago we used to have a marketing committee, which to you and I makes sense.
Yeah.
People sit down. What do you want your organisation to do? What do you want to talk about? We stopped it.
Okay.
So that's happening. That's starting again. The first meeting is next month to get people involved. And again, the way I see CAB is we can say things that people in the industry can't.
Yeah.
Yes, so if there's a particular challenge that people are finding, we can voice that, and that's what I want us to be, is to be able to sort of sit there and say, hang on, as an industry, we're going down this road, but we can see a problem coming down that journey. So we all need to sort of stop a minute and do that way and just nudge it a little bit.
Okay.
So
And another potential, I guess it is a problem, is the skills gap in our industry, and getting people into our industry. Do you think CAV are really well positioned in that aspect to actually help that you're actually speaking to people right across the supply chain and from different parts of the industry or the construction industry to actually sort of work out how we can actually promote this industry as a good career option?
it's one of our internal projects at the moment that we're just trying to put the strategy together and work out. So previously, we've done it. We've worked with Build Our Skills.
Yeah.
We have a number of courses that we offer. One is a CSCS card for curtain walling installation, which is very popular. The office are very busy booking those all the time. But the gap, as we all know about, is backfilling those roles when people leave the industry. And you walking around factories, you see some really skilled, and especially some glass factories, some real
Yeah.
artisans who are doing leaded work and stuff like that. It's amazing, but there's not a youngster next to them And
Yeah.
when I say youngster, it could be 30,
Yeah.
20.
Just
I'm not
someone
I'm
there,
not
yeah.
school leavers necessarily, but someone who's interested, someone who wants to take that on. So the gap is, I went to a technical college. I never went to university. Yeah, when I left school, if you went to university, if you wanted to be a doctor, a lawyer, or something like that. Whereas, and all my mates and we went to technical colleges. We went to Brunel Technical College. Then you ended up doing your HNC at a polytechnic.
Mm.
Well, polytechnics are now all universities, and
Yeah.
technical colleges. So I think there's, when the kids are 14, I think we've got to attack them as they're doing their options and say, right, if you're not academic, do this, go this way.
Yeah.
But you don't. Academic is a horrible word because it doesn't necessarily mean you can't do what you need to do later on in life. It's a life skill. For me, it's about grabbing them, showing them what our industry is about. I was having a conversation the other day, and I've said it to a few people. If you take the one element of a window that we all interact with, yeah, the one thing that you deal with is a handle.
Yeah.
Right? It's the one part of the window everyone interacts with. Don't care what age you are,
Yeah.
where you are in the world. If you think about what goes into making a handle, it's no different to making a supercar.
Mm.
You've still
Yeah.
got to look at it. You've got to design it. You've got to have you've got to have an industrial designer look at the handle, understand what it needs to do, understand what finishes you're going to have it in. You've got to test it. You've got to market it. Someone's got to be an accountant to make sure the numbers stack up. It's no different than anything else. I think our industry still suffers from the white gold thing, where I personal slant on that. When I first met my mother-in-law, I was well, she was going to be my future mother-in-law, obviously at the time. I was involved in unitized facades in London and around the UK.
Yeah.
When I said what I was doing, she said, "Oh, you do windows, do you?" Right?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, but she was like, "You do windows, do you?" Like,
Yeah.
no, we do facades.
There's much more than that.
It's much more complex.
Yeah.
And even having a replacement UPVC window in your house. It's not a case of ripping out and just chucking another one in.
Yeah.
It's understanding where it sits in the reveal, what relations are.
And that's even before it's even made, isn't it? Like the window itself has been manufactured. It's do you think that that's a problem that our industry is actually we don't promote how technical it is?
Yeah, I do, and I think as an industry, I mean, we can see ourselves. How long have we been talking about smart windows? Smart facades. Yeah, years. Yeah, people are trying to push it out there, but the uptake on it from the homeowner is quite low.
Yeah.
I question if we know how to sell it, and is the education there all the way through the supply chain?
Yeah.
And that's the same goes for ventilation. Yeah. For how glass works.
Yeah.
There's a lot of education needed, and I think if we did that, and it's something we're looking at, that will filter down. And it's how we do it. But it's an awesome industry, and we just we should be ashamed to shout about it. We should love it. I was at a wedding at the weekend. I was chatting to one of my wife's friends, partners. So what do you do? What do you do? I do windows and doors. Oh, fantastic. Aluminium, PVC. Where he lives 5 miles up the road.
Oh, really?
Do you know what I mean? And it's like you should be shouting about that.
Yeah.
You should be really proud about it.
Yeah, everyone has them, don't they? So it's like it's one of those things that everyone needs in their life. So
I think De Koning did the thing last year. We all need them, but we don't want to buy them.
Yeah,
it's not. I need new windows, but I want a new car.
Yeah.
It's education again. It's understanding what new windows will do for you.
Yeah,
but that's a whole other topic rather than sustainability of skills. So
and to sort of carry on with it with the skills, like how are CAB like actively trying to? Is there anything you're doing with other companies or on your own to actually promote the industry in a good light and get in front of these people that potentially could be having a career with us?
Yeah, we're Jessica is looking at working with a local school to try and work out the process and what we can
Yeah.
do, and what tools you need to be able to get in front of the pupils, what you then need to do and mentor and the rest of it, with a view that we can then box that off and go, right, that's how you can do it. That's how to engage with the school level.
Yeah.
But you look at some of our members, senior architectural, are already doing that big time in Sheffield.
Okay.
Yeah, and other members are as well.
Yeah.
We just don't talk about it.
No. No,
Yeah,
it's like we're sort of a bit, I say scared. Scared's probably not the right word, but if when one company are doing something great, that it's like they don't want to really tell anyone, just in case one, it doesn't work, or two, someone else sort of takes their idea. But actually, it's a time, and Cab will be one of those that where we need to work together, because actually these things, there are some great ideas amongst companies that they're only there doing, and we need to sort of shout about it so other companies can go, oh yeah, I can do that in my area, and hopefully sort of drip through that. Actually, throughout the country, we start getting more people in.
yeah. I mean, and we all talk about it. We're all passionate about it.
Yeah.
When you're at PiGs events, you're talking to people, and the biggest problem is skills gaps, and
Yeah.
how are we going to do something about it? But we're all waiting for somebody else to do something about it. So, that's what I've tasked Jessica with putting this. What I want CAB to be able to be is a facilitator to show people how they can do it.
Yeah.
I haven't got enough people to do it for them.
No.
But what we can do is with our skills, is show
Yeah.
people how we can do that. And
Yeah, you've got the knowledge between the companies that are members. There's more than enough knowledge there to really make a dent in it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, how powerful would it be, someone like Aluuk to go into the Chepstow schools, which I'm not saying they aren't doing it. I'm using them as an example because they're relatively local, and I know the facility. For the Chepstow schools to come in and understand what that massive facility is doing behind the cladding.
Yeah.
What are they doing? And see how many different skills there are in there. I think it's so powerful.
Yeah.
Most of the facilities we've got in our industry are amazing.
And
And you go in there and it's like, wow, and then any school child who isn't going to be interested in going to university is going to go, wow, this is really interesting.
Yeah.
And you learn that you can go. I mean, how many of us? I mean, I've watched a number of the podcasts, and how many of us have not started as a management, graduate manager, and gone through it. We've all started early days and gone through, understood what the market's about, understood the products, got impassioned by it, and that's what we need to do, is just get that passion into them early. And my youngest son, he's 21. 3 years ago, started working for Glasshouse in Cardiff, manufacturing aluminium windows and doors. Loves it.
Yeah.
I was walking, because he loves the crack. He loves what he's doing. He loves the products he's manufacturing. And I walked past our dining room the other day, and he was chatting to a number of his mates. And I sort of caught a piece of their conversation. So I just sort of listened. They were talking about how could they set their own fabrication business up.
Wow.
One of them's an accountant. One of them does PVC fabrication. One of them does aluminium fabrication.
Yeah.
And they're like, how can we do this? And I thought, that's amazing.
Yeah.
They're not seeing it as it pays for me motorbike and a couple of beers on the weekend.
Yeah.
They actually want to carry on with it.
It's a long term, career, and we've seen that, isn't it? That like you said, there's people that have started sort of relatively low, on the shop floor and things like that, and have worked their way up to CEOs or whatever it may be, and they've had a brilliant career and a life in the industry, and it just I think that's what we probably need to do a bit more as well, is to actually promote that actually there is that viable ladder, as we say, right the way up to the top.
How many high streets you drive down now, or little industrial estates that have got a small business, family-owned business that's involved in glazing?
Yeah.
Right. That sustains that family. Yeah. I know a number of them are perhaps moving out of fabrication and more into installation.
Yeah.
But our business is full of entrepreneurial startups.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether that entrepreneurism started 30, 40, 50 years ago, that passion is still running it for the business. Definitely. And something we don't shout about. How many other industries have got the diverse range of SMEs in it that we have.
No, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely hopefully with yourselves and other people and other associations and companies, we can actually it feels like I know we keep saying that sort of the time is now to do something, but I hope that we've just got to get a few more get a few more things out there and talk to a few more people and hopefully start at least make a dent in it, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, and you hear a lot of negative things about young kids on you either have to be on TikTok or something else, so but there's a huge amount of kids that aren't into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I suppose the thing is how do we capture them? And one of us is going to, or all of us are going to come up with an idea, and then we'll push it out there. And that's what membership bodies are about. So.
Yeah, definitely.
No, not just us, GGF, everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And talking about your members, obviously you're speaking to a lot of people from right across the supply chain. How are things looking from their point of view, from your point of view? Is it obviously I've heard many conversations where I was speaking on a previous episode of saying that it's actually there's no middle ground, is what we said. That it was either things are doing good, they're strong, or really struggling. There's no sort of we're doing okay. Is that the same sort of conversations that you're having with members?
Yeah, you've got some that are flat out and are going to exceed expectations, and others that are sort of looking around and wondering why the phone isn't ringing. That's a really strange time. I think we all, when the election was called, that was obviously a little bit of a bump stop for everybody.
Yeah.
Then we started to see little green shoots, and people think, right, okay, we're going to go again, and then this week we've been told, well, hold your horses, batten down the hatches.
Yeah.
So especially in our industry, again, that major purchase, that major outlay that you're going to make if you're going to have new windows and doors, you're going to sit back and think, well, I need to wait until find out what's happening in the budget.
Yeah.
So they keep promising to deliver manufacturing back to the UK and everything else, but then they throw in these little So I think all of us are sitting there. I get the CPA data, and it looks good. Glenigan data, it looks like we're building. Projects are starting to move again now, which is great. But I think we just need to. I think it's another 6 months. I think we've got to wait until sort of like spring to really understand where we're going. Yeah. But saying that, people are still out there. They're still winning work. Everything's happening. I just think it's are we suffering sort of post-COVID of having that expectation of where we were?
Yeah.
And we forget what 2019 was like.
What it was like, before it went mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking about another thing that's potentially something both in the government and for our industry is sort of sustainability and net zero and things like that. What are CAB doing to promote that, I guess, in our industry and actually help us along that route?
Well, it's one of the things we're focusing on, to be honest. We've got a scheme called the closed loop recycling scheme, which has been up and running 5 years.
Yeah.
And I was questioned as a director, why haven't we got more members on it? We must have 15, 20 members engaged in it. And suddenly realised, you think everyone knows about it, but they don't. And I mean, this scheme is phenomenal. We've got people from beginning to end of the whole life cycle involved in it. So we can guarantee you good rates for the scrap, but they'll pick it up at every point.
Yeah.
Even to the fact that if you're going post-consumer, so we've had members who have won projects specifically because they've used the closed loop scheme.
Okay.
We can ensure that curtain wall that they're taking out is going back into remelt and going back into aluminium production for curtain walling and doors.
Yeah. And do you think that'll be seen more and more in projects where they actually want something that'll be a closed loop?
I've been talking to two main contractors recently who absolutely get it, see it, and will now start asking for it on their schemes. So, which the benefit of that to us, it doesn't cost the main contractor anything.
Yeah.
But what it benefits me is that you've got to be a CAB member to be a member of the CL, the closed loop.
Yeah.
So I was also talking to Aaron at Glass Express last week about how can we then alongside that, bring glass into it.
Yeah.
How do we encourage that side of it? So it's something we're talking about a lot. I'm talking about it. Our members will get bored of hearing me talk about it. But architects, I'm talking to some architects at the minute to do trial with. We've actually got MBS spec clauses for it, so it'll actually become a specified item.
No.
So embodied carbon is what we're really focusing on, and make sure that's as low as we can get it.
Yeah.
So the clues in our name really is a council for aluminium in building. So we've got a fantastic product that's life cycle is endless. So we need to shout about it.
Yeah, definitely. And lastly, to end the main part of the podcast is we normally ask our guests to describe our industry in 3 words. It's not always easy to describe it in 3 words, but is there anything that springs to mind from your career in the industry?
Contagious.
In a good way.
Once you get in, you can't get out. And that's not necessarily about the industry; it's about the people.
Yeah.
Which again, I think the other 2 words is it's fun. I know we all have hard days, but we do have fun. We have a laugh with people and day to day, whether you work with them or you're networking. Brilliant. And I think everyone I come across is passionate, and I think there is a passion for what we do.
Yeah.
Be that as I say, sealants right the way through to a 10, 15, 20 million pound facade. We're all really passionate about it. And so for me, passionate, fun, and contagious.
Nice. I like that. I like that a lot. Well, thanks, Nigel. Yeah, we're going to move on to our quick fire question round. If you've seen the previous episodes, like you said, you know that these are nothing too heavy, just a few questions to get to know you a bit better. So we'll start off. What's your favourite car? You said you're motorsport into could have gone into motorsport. What's your favourite car?
If I could buy anything, it'd be an Aston Martin Vantage.
Nice. What's your favourite sport?
Now I've got the greys. So I play lawn bowls.
Okay.
So,
nice.
I'm vice chairman of our local lawn bowls club.
Nice. Do you prefer talking over email or by phone?
Our phone.
Yeah.
Phone. Email's a necessity now, but pick up phone.
Yeah. What was the last thing that you Googled?
It was actually the garage that I'm supposed to have my car MOT'd at tomorrow to tell them I'm not taking it
there. What's your favourite thing to do on a day off, if you ever get a day off?
To be honest, I like relaxing. I spent some time with Jew, but it's 4 kids, grandchild.
Not much time to relax.
Yeah.
and if you was to have a movie played, who would play yourself in a movie if there was a movie about the life of yourself? Or who would you like to play you, and who do you think would play you?
Oh, blimey. I hadn't thought about that one. Don't know. Bruce Willis. Only I've got too much hair. I don't know.
It's a good shout. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, Nigel. For the last part, we always like to let people give a shout out to people in the industry or outside of the industry. So please fire away with who you'd like to shout out.
Well, obviously all our members. Without them, we wouldn't be here. And the team back at the office who work hard, and people don't realise what they're like. Graceful swans. They're absolutely running around underneath the water. So Jessica and Kelly, who do a great job. And one of the unsung heroes of our organisation is Justin Furness, who is a wealth of technical knowledge, and I really enjoy working closely with him. So, but yeah.
Perfect. Well, thanks very much, Nigel, for joining us today. I really appreciate you coming on and talking about all things cab.
Excellent. Thank you. I look forward to Manchester, isn't it? Next one.
That's it. That's the next one. Yeah, last one of the year, and we've had a good year so far. So hoping to end it on a high.
Yeah, apologies I couldn't get to Newcastle, but the others obviously I've enjoyed. So
yeah, definitely, yeah. Well, that's it for today. So I hope you can join us for another episode soon. You can find this Nigel's episode and all others on our YouTube channel, on our website, and wherever you get your podcast from. And once you're there, you can also find our new newsletter, Sty News, along with all of your people news, charity news, and event news. Thanks again to Nigel, and see you again soon.